Snowfall Season 2 isn't as strong as Season 1, and I'll analyze why in this video essay. Franklin's story lacked a proper antagonist for most of his subplot. In his story, 2 of his dealers got killed. Kev wanted revenge, but Frank knew that it could lead to dire consequences. Most of his subplot is trying to please the family while avoiding a war with the Mexicans. There isn't a straightforward antagonist at all. For most of the subplot, you can't even count Kev as an antagonist because Franklin's trying to keep him happy without getting revenge. An antagonist has to oppose the hero. Towards the end, Kevin becomes an antagonist when he sells the formula and almost starts a war. And that was for about 1 episode. Lorena also becomes Frank's antagonist for almost 1 episode as well. In Season 1, Frank had multiple antagonists, Lenny, Ray Ray, and Carvel. First, the duo stole his money, then Carvel stole the stolen money, then Lenny shot Leon. These 3 were constant threats from episode 2 to 10. Season 2 didn't have that. The second weakness of this subplot is the lack of evolution in the business. In my video about maintaining momentum, I broke down how Frank kept facing new challenges revolving around selling cocaine. His method of distribution kept changing throughout the season and never got stagnant. In Season 2, there's only one change. Franklin starts getting cocaine from Teddy after Offie gets locked up. Apart from that, everything stays the same. Something that Season 2 added is the interpersonal drama in the Saints' lives. Sissy and Alton, Franklin and his parents, Jerome and Louie, Franklin and Kevin, all of these dynamics weren't present in Season 1. They also result in character arcs. Alton comes back into his family's life. Sissy and Franklin forgive Alton. Jerome learns to respect Louie. Kevin loses respect for Franklin's authority. Season 1 didn't have that much development for his side characters like this, but I think what it had to offer was overall greater. Teddy's subplot had a similar issue to Franklin's. He lacked an antagonist. In Season 1, he didn't have a consistent antagonist, but he had a few. There was the boy that was a spy, the girl that was getting close to exposing Alejandro, and then Alejandro himself with his immoral actions. It wasn't great, but at least he had opponents. In Season 2, he has one, but it's minor. Lorena is trying to catch him, but she only derails him a little by preventing him from returning to his base, which leads to his brother getting captured. The 2 guys that captured his brother also aren't antagonists because they don't oppose him straight up. They just put pressure on him to hold up his end of the deal. He has the challenge of getting in contact with a government agent, but that's not an opponent. The chain of command and firing of his contact just pose obstacles. Finally, when he meets Lorena, he simply outranks her and orders her to do things to help him with little pushback. Lastly, there was the Mexican subplot, which handed the reins over to Lucia. Her story has a proper antagonist in Lorena and an interesting plot twist, but the weakness is how she and Oso deal with obstacles. They kill Pedro, but they don't actually beat Lorena. She captures both of them. In the 3 subplots in Season 1 and the 2 other subplots from Season 2, the main characters conquer difficult situations and opponents with intelligence and allies. In Lucia's plot, they just snitch, first on Teddy, then on Franklin, and then they let go once Teddy shuts down her operation. That is so disappointing and dishonorable. They used allies and tactics to kill Pedro's father in Season 1, which was impressive, but here, they roll over and submit to their opponent's commands in order to go free. Selling the killer to Kevin to gain the formula to save themselves from the other Mexicans was clever problem solving, but it is heavily overshadowed by the snitching which ends their subplot. The lack of strong antagonists, the lack of business evolution, and the lack of overcoming adversities with intelligence is what made Season 2 overall weaker than Season 1. The best thing it did was put more focus on Franklin's subplot, but that wasn't enough.